So the pronoun brigade have come for Henry Cavill in the last 24 hours, and I believe every single aspect of this leaked document. And not only do I believe it, I think it makes him look even more awesome than it did before the leak. Everything that they say here is just completely and utterly normal. It's the way normal people act. And these people that are so confused with their own lives are trying to do a hit piece. And I actually find it interesting, the timing of this hit piece, because Henry Cavill has been in the press a lot over the last 48 hours because of the absolute sting that he got from James Gunn. Done a video on that. You know my feelings on James Gunn. I have people jumping into the comments going, hey man, they're edgy tweets about James Gunn. Lighten up. It's like, what? Edgy tweets. And in the same breath, calling me defamatory, homophobic names. And it's like, you're just so confused. Anyone with pronouns like that in your bio, you're confused. Don't be here. Jog on. So it's going to be a quick video. I'm going to break down exactly why I think that everything that came out in this leak, this fake manufactured leak, why I think everything seems to be completely and utterly true. Because, as I said, when you know the backstory about the showrunners and the producers of this show and how they were decimating this specific property, then you can only react the way Henry Cavill acted. But we won't read the whole thing, we'll just hit on a few notes here. It says, between season 2 and season 3, he became even harder to work with, and he was extremely difficult to work with the women on set. Now, again, the context of this is that the showrunners and the writers' room consisted of the majority of women. And these people overtly came out and spoke about it in the media that they disliked the actual premise and property of The Witcher. Their whole agenda was to change it and turn it into an intersectionality fest. That was pretty much it. That was an open secret. Everybody knows exactly how they felt about the property, as Henry Cavill was extremely knowledgeable about this property and wanted it to be true and just and very accurate. Of course he's going to have friction between the showrunners and the writers, and the majority of them were women. Okay, so that's that section of this stupid leak debunked, right? Let's say that the showrunners and the writers' room were majoritively gay. Then he would have been a homophobic, right? If they were black, then he would have been racist. If they were white, middle-aged men, what would it have been? Well, it would have been actor, director, showrunner, writer trashing it out to get the best out of a show. Pretty much what we've had for 100 years in Hollywood. So it would have been exactly what happens when creatives come together and they want the best for the show. That's what it would have been. It just so happens that the showrunner and the writers were all female, and they hated the fact that it was a strong male lead. They just hated it, and what they did is they tore it down. So of course he's going to push back. Again, it goes on to say that he started making comments and that they weren't lewd or of a sexual nature, but in the same breath they were extremely toxic. So in other words, he disagreed with you, and using words like toxic and misogyny actually helps your case here, right? Otherwise, how do you win an argument? So it goes on to talk about the HR section were overwhelmed with the amount of complaints from these pronoun non-binary women/men that didn't like the fact that Henry Cavill knew the story better than them and wanted to make it as accurate and close to the book as possible. They hated that, so straight away they had to run to the HR. Any industry across the board that has a HR section or department are pretty much there to stifle free speech, to push conformity and over accentuate mental illness. That's basically what a HR department does. So her saying that we repeatedly reported him to the HR section doesn't mean anything. She talks about him being addicted to video games and he was almost obsessive about it. So seeing NPCs endlessly swiping upwards on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all this garbage for hours on end, that's not obsessive. That's not an addiction. That's normality according to the narrative, right? But someone playing a video game for a couple of hours, enjoying that escapism, that couple of hours a day that you can actually achieve something within this world that's completely removed from the insane mental illness that we actually live in. That's insane, and that builds misogynists, and of course the bro language is always included in that as well. This is absolutely crazy. There's no basis of fact in any of this, and if there is, it just makes him look better. So the takeaway from this really nefarious pronoun brigade attacking Henry Cavill at this really strange time is that the majority of people that read your fake leak are going to look at it and say, this is just a normal guy who really cares about the production that he's working on, and you sound like an absolute soy boy cuck woke piece of dirt. And the other half are going to say, none of this is real because you've provided no facts, no receipts, no comments, no nothing. So at the end of the day, this is another failure for you absolute and utter pathetic losers, and another complete and utter win for Henry Cavill. Let me know what you think down below. Maybe share out the video. Maybe subscribe. That's the most important one. Maybe try boosting numbers on this and get the message out there. I appreciate it. Cheers.